Okay, well, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, so today within reading 3, reading comprehension 3, we're going to directly discuss about how to tame, the reading comprehension section within TOEFL. You know TOEFL? What is TOEFL? What is TOEFL? What is TOEFL? Test of English as a foreign language. Okay, test of English as a foreign language. And then it is very important. And then this is the peak for your challenge for reading section. Yeah, for reading comprehension. Yeah. So how many minutes and how many questions within reading within TOEFL? Yeah. So totally it is 55 minutes for the time. And then the next one is 50 questions. Yeah. Jadi soalnya ada berapa? Ada 50 untuk reading. Oh, keseluruhan 140. Okay. But especially for reading, it's only 50 questions. Yeah, 50 questions, and for the available time is actually 55 minutes. Yeah. Okay. So, what are the materials within the reading sections within TOEFL or Test of English as a foreign language? So actually, it contains scientific text. Yeah. Jadi semua teks yang terkandung di dalam TOEFL itu adalah semuanya teks scientific atau ilmiah. So you cannot simply find any regular text like, for example, I went to Bali with my family, or about procedures text, no, or about your hobby, your passion, no. It is all about scientific text. Okay, what is it meant by scientific in here? It is dealing. The first one is related to science, and number 2 is related to social, and number 3 maybe it is related to arts. Ya, jadi terkait apa saja? Yang pertama tadi ada science ya, yaitu terkait ilmu pengetahuan alam. Yang kedua terkait sosial, dan yang ketiga terkait apa? Terkait arts. What is arts? Seni ya, or maybe arts and culture. Salam, yes, please have a seat. Okay, so for example in here, we have the following passage. Passage itu adalah bacaan ya. Kalau kita lihat di sini. Ya, bacaannya. So we have John Quincy Adams, who served as the 6th president of the United States from 1825 to 1829, is today recognized for his masterful statesmanship and diplomacy. Ya, jadi strategi kita untuk menghadapi reading section within TOEFL, ya, vocabulary mastery is a must. Jadi penguasaan vocab atau kosakata itu adalah sebuah keharusan. For example, John Quincy Adams, who served as the 6th president of the United States from 1825 up to 1829. Yang artinya adalah ada seseorang yang bernama John Quincy Adams, ya, yang melayani negara Amerika Serikat ya sebagai apa? Presiden, ya, dalam periode masa jabatannya tahun 1825 sampai 1829 ya. Is today recognized for his masterful statesmanship and diplomacy ya. Yang saat ini dikenal sebagai atau dikenal ya akan kepiawaian beliau ya dalam kenegaraan dan diplomasi. Jadi diplomasi itu by the time you try to do bargaining or maybe socialization to the society or maybe you make agreement with other countries, we call it diplomacy. Okay? He dedicated his life to public service. Jadi dia apa? Mendedikasikan hidupnya ya ke pelayanan publik atau pelayanan umum. Oke? Ya. Both in the presidency and in the various other political offices, ya. Baik itu di ranah apa? Kepresidenan ya. Dan juga di berbagai kantor-kantor politik ya. That he held, yang dia pegang. Throughout his political career, he demonstrated his unswerving belief. Ya, unswerving itu kokoh ya. Jadi belief itu kan kepercayaan ya. Unswerving itu tak tergoyahkan. Ya, unmoving seperti itu ya. Yang kokoh, yang kuat ya. Jadi melalui karir politiknya dia telah mendemonstrasikan atau membuktikan ya kepercayaannya yang tidak tergoyahkan in freedom, dalam ya kebebasan, terhadap kebebasan ya. You know that within that time, slavery was very, common, as a practice, as a malpractice, okay? Of speech, freedom of speech. Okay, so at the time, not all people was able to deliver free speech, especially about freedom, especially about human rights. Okay, the anti-slavery cause, penyebab anti-slavery, Okay, slavery itu apa? Perbudakan. Jadi beliau ini mengusung anti-slavery, mengusung paham apa? Anti perbudakan. And the right of Americans to be free from European and Asian domination. Dan right itu apa? Hak, hak-hak bangsa Amerika terbebas dari bangsa Eropa dan bangsa Asia, dominasi bangsa Eropa dan dominasi bangsa Asia. Yes, please have a seat. The right of Americans in here can refer to the original tribe of Americans. You know the Indian, right? Yes, the Indian people. We can call it. We can refer the right of Americans in here to the Indian people. I mean, the Indian tribe, suku bangsa Indian yang menetap di benua Amerika, the right of Americans. Pada saat itu, by the time European and Asian people, came firstly to the continent, of course they were seeking for example, gold and other mining, and they tried to dominate. Mereka berusaha untuk dominasi. And then the typical questions like this. To what did John Quincy Adams devote his life? Kepada apakah? Kepada apakah si John Quincy Adams ini mendedikasikan hidupnya? Apakah improving his personal life? Apakah dia mendedikasikan hidupnya untuk mengembangkan kehidupan pribadinya dia? No. Apakah C, increasing his fortune, meningkatkan kesejahteraannya? No. Apakah working on his private business, mengerjakan bisnis atau bisnis pribadinya? Tidak, So the best answer is B, serving the public, because it is stated there. If you try to see, he dedicated his life to public service. Starts from line 2, ada di line kedua atau baris kedua, yang paling belakang. He dedicated his life to public service. So it is very clear, according to the passage, John Quincy Adams dedicated his life to public service. Therefore, you should choose B. Okay, yes. And then example 2, we see first in line 4. We try to count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Unswerving. Okay, tadi sudah saya jelaskan unswerving itu apa ya? Throughout his political career, he demonstrated his unswerving belief. Unswerving itu tadi apa sih? Tidak tergoyahkan, yang kuat. Unchanging. Okay? Yes, the answer is unchanging. Kalau kalian pilih movable salah, insignificant salah, diplomatic salah. Jadi yang B, yang C, unchanging, tidak tergoyahkan, tidak berubah. The passage states that John Quincy Adams demonstrated his unswerving belief, kepercayaannya yang tidak tergoyahkan. Dia punya prinsip yang kuat, the unswerving belief throughout his career. This implies that the belief did not change. Kepercayaan atau prinsip beliau tidak tergoyahkan. Therefore, you should choose C. And it now begins work on the questions. Okay, kita lihat ya. The next one, we have questions 1 up to 10. And this is a typical of, scientific text. If we try to categorize this text, it belongs to a report text. So this text simply reports about the traits or characteristics of a specific animal. Okay, let's try to read it first. The hippopotamus is the third largest land animal, smaller only than the elephant and the rhinoceros. Jadi hippopotamus itu apa sih? What is the meaning of hippopotamus? Badak, bukan badak. Badak itu rhinoceros. Tapi kalau hippopotamus itu lebih ke kuda Nil. Rhinoceros is badak, but hippopotamus is kuda Nil. Ya. Jadi the hippopotamus is the third largest land animal. Ya, lagi-lagi we have to master the vocabulary. Ya, vocabulary mastery is a must. Jadi penguasaan kosakata itu wajib hukumnya. Ya, in taming TOEFL questions, especially within reading section. Ya, jadi kuda Nil itu ya merupakan hewan darat terbesar ketiga. Ya, smaller only than the elephant. Ya, lebih kecil daripada elephant and the rhinoceros dan badak. Berarti kalau badak itu nomor 2, the elephant number 1. Ya, berarti cukup besar ya badak ya. Berarti kan di sini artinya lions perhaps smaller than the hippopotamus, right? And we can conclude that rhinoceros will be very big. Badak itu besar nggak? Besar. If you can imagine, it is taller than the horse. Kuda aja tinggi ya, segini mungkin ya. Apalagi badak, badak itu mungkin segini, seorang, ya. Tinggi sekali. Oke. Kalau lions, ada nggak ceritanya lions makan badak? No, there's no story of a group of lions, eating rhinoceros. No, or even hippopotamus. It will be explained later. Its name comes from 2 Greek words which mean river horse. Jadi namanya berasal dari 2 kata Yunani. Di bangsa Yunani itu yang artinya adalah river horse. River itu adalah sungai, horse adalah kuda. Jadi kuda sungai. Kenapa namanya kuda Nil? Karena waktu itu mungkin it is very common to be found in the Egypt. You know, the longest river in Egypt in Africa is the Nile, right? Okay, but they don't call it the Nile horse, no, but hippopotamus. Ya kalau mereka mau menamakan the Nile horse kan bisa aja ya. Maksudnya kuda Nil gitu ya. Oke, The long name of this animal, nama dari animal ini is often shortened to the easier to handle the term hippo. Jadi nama hippopotamus itu kepanjangan sebenarnya. Orang bisa terbalik-balik membacanya seperti hippopotamus, himotopamus, and then they try to shorten it into hippo, in order to simplify it, dengan maksud adalah untuk menyederhanakannya, The long name of this animal is often shortened to the easier to handle the term of hippo. I try to zoom it a little bit so that you can. Okay, I think it's better, right? Yes. Okay. The long name of this animal is often shortened to be easier to handle the term hippo. The hippo has a natural affinity for the water. Jadi hippo ini secara alami memiliki affinity itu adalah dia itu akrab keakraban dengan air. Affinity actually it is dealing with born naturally with water. Jadi secara habitat tuh dia terbiasa. Water itu semacam mungkin salah satu tempat hidupnya, habitatnya seperti itu Natural affinity for the water. It does not float on top of the water. Jadi hippopotamus itu dia tidak mengapung di atas air Instead, melainkan it can easily walk along the bottom of a body of water. Melainkan hippopotamus itu dia bisa berjalan di dasar sungai, dasar danau dan sebagainya. Okay? And then in here it is stated the hippo commonly remains underwater for 3 to 5 minutes. Jadi berapa lama hippopotamus bisa menahan napas? Jawabannya adalah normalnya 3 sampai 5 menit. But it is stated also and has been known dan diketahui, it means there's a witness, ada orang yang menyaksikan, and has been known to stay under for up to half an hour before coming up for the air, dan juga diketahui pernah, ada orang melihat bisa menyelam si hippopotamus ini selama berapa? Half an hour itu setengah jam atau 30 minutes, yes, okay? Lama ya, kalian bisa nggak? Jangankan 3 menit ya, I think 1 minute is hard. Ramzi, can you hold your breath for 1 minute? 1 minute is hard. 1 minute is hard already. Moreover, this one is 3 minutes or 5 minutes. It's hard. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's like Aquaman. Yeah. Aquaman. Okay. Okay. And then in here, in spite of its name, walaupun namanya tadi ya river horse, the hippo has relatively little in common with the horse. Jadi secara nama itu river horse, tapi si hippopotamus atau kuda Nil ini memiliki persamaan yang kecil, yang sedikit, ya, has relatively little in common with the horse. And instead, dan melainkan, has a number of interesting similarities in common with the whale. Melainkan dia punya persamaan yang banyak. Dengan apa? Whale, ya ikan paus. Ikan yang diem aja. Ikan paus. Okay. Next, yep. When a hippo comes up after a stay at the bottom of a lake or river, ya, ketika si kuda Nil ini muncul ke permukaan air, ya, entah itu dari sungai ataupun dari danau ataupun sungai, it releases air through a blowhole. Dia menyemburkan ya udara berair ya, layaknya a whale, right? Ya, just like a whale. Oke, seperti layaknya seekor ikan paus, dia menyemburkan air. Ya, sebenarnya menyemburkan udara, cara dia bernapas. In addition, terlebih lagi, the hippo resembles the whale in that they both have thick layers of blubber. Ya, dan juga ada persamaan lainnya. Si hippopotamus atau kuda Nil ini memiliki persamaan yang lain, yaitu memiliki ya thick layers, yaitu adalah lapisan tebal dari blubber. Blubber is layer of fat. Jadi lapisan lemak. For what? For protection. Untuk perlindungan. Ya. So it is very hard actually to eat hippopotamus, yeah, because it will be very thick. Jadi tebal sekali kulitnya. If maybe rhinoceros, it is, it has a very hard skin. Kalau kita pegang badak itu kan kulitnya itu keras ya, kasar gitu ya. Tapi kalau hippopotamus itu dia tebal, ya, thick layer seperti itu. So it is not very easy to eat hippopotamus ya. Ada nggak orang yang membeleh atau apa? Slaughter itu apa sih? Menyembelih ya, menyembelih hippopotamus? Nggak ada kayaknya ya, because it is very thick ya. And they are almost completely hairless. Dan mayoritas mereka itu apa? Hairless. What is hairless? Ya, tidak punya bulu, tidak punya rambut. Okay, so in here we try to learn. Yeah, what is the typical questions? Yeah, depicted within TOEFL or Test of English as a Foreign Language. So the first, look at the topic of this passage is. Kalau kita lihat topik dari bacaan ini itu apa? Berarti kan kita pilih we choose the most general. Kita pilih yang paling umum. Ya. Apakah ini keseluruhan tentang the largest land animals? No. Apakah tentang the derivations of animals name? Asal muasal nama hewan? No. Ya. Apakah the relation between hippo and the whale? Secara khusus? No. But the characteristics of the hippo. Yeah. So by the time there is a questions, yeah, asking about the topic, the main topic of the passage. So we choose the most general statement. Okay. Now number 2, it can be inferred, dapat disimpulkan ya, from the passage that the rhinoceros is, bahwasanya badak itu bagaimana? Apakah smaller than the hippo? Apakah dia lebih kecil daripada kuda Nil? No. Equal in size to the elephant? Apakah besarnya sama dengan gajah? No. Apakah a hybrid of the hippo and the elephant? Persilangan, perkawinan antara. Oke. Jadi jawabannya yang D. One of two largest types of land animals. The first one is the elephant. Number 2 is the rhinoceros or the rhino. Yes. Yeah. Next, number 3. The possessive its in line 2 refers to, kita lihat ya ke atas ya. Line 2, its. Yeah. Its name comes from 2 Greek words which mean river horse. It refers to, apakah itu mengacu kepada namanya si rhino? Bukan. Hippopotamus ya. Yes, the answer is A. It is very clear, hippopotamus. Okay. Jadi typical questions for TOEFL. Ya. Tadi yang pertama asking about the main topic. Okay. Number 2 is asking about inference. Inference itu kesimpulan. Ya. Number 3, yeah, maybe asking about the pronoun reference. Jadi semacam kayak kata ganti, lalu kata ganti tersebut merujuk kepada apa? Misalnya gini, the word he, the word it, the word she refers to apa gitu. Itu sangat common sekali seperti itu ya. And then the possessive it's in line 2 refers to hippopotamus. The answer is A. Number 4, look at. It can be inferred, dapat disimpulkan ya, from the passage that the hippopotamus is commonly called hippo because the word hippo is, tadi disingkat ya, hippopotamus menjadi hippo. Yes, simpler to pronounce, lebih mudah, lebih sederhana untuk dilafalkan ya, pronounce ya. Bukan scientifically more accurate ya, bukan secara ilmiah lebih akurat, bukan. The original name bukan, original name-nya tadi hippopotamus. Easier for the animal to recognize. Memudahkan hewan-hewan untuk mengenali, oh hippopotamus. Gitu. No. Yeah. Okay. Number 6, according to the passage, ya, menurut bacaan di atas, what is the maximum time that hippos have been known to stay underwater? Ya, tadi kan diketahui ada orang yang bisa melihat, oh hippopotamus dia bisa menyelam lebih dari itu. How many? Yes. How long? Yes, it's 30 minutes. So according to passage, what is the maximum time about hippos? Yeah, have been known to stay underwater? The answer is C, 30 minutes. Okay. And number 7, the expression has relatively little in common in line 7. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In spite of its name, the hippo has relatively little in common with the horse. Ya, berarti dia memiliki kesamaan yang sedikit. Ya, dengan apa? Dengan kuda. Ya. So the answer is the expression has relatively little in common in line 7 could be best replaced by shares few similarities. Jadi hanya berbagi sedikit saja persamaan ya. Oke. The passage number 8. The passage states that one way in which a hippo is similar to a whale is that, nah di sini dari bacaan di atas ya, menyatakan bahwasanya salah satu persamaan dari hippopotamus atau kuda Nil dengan whale, ya dengan ikan paus adalah apakah they both live on the bottoms of rivers? No, ikan paus tidak tinggal di sungai ya. Apakah they are both named after horses? No. They both breathe underwater? No. They both have blowholes. Ya, mereka ya hippopotamus dan whale itu keduanya memiliki lubang udara ya, lubang semburan untuk menyemburkan ini udara ya. Okay. Actually, it is a way they breathe to take the oxygen. The word blubber. Still remember about blubber? In line 10 is closest in meaning to. Tadi lapisan apa blubber? Lemak. So which one is it? You see, so it is A. Yeah, fat. The word blubber in line 10 is closest in meaning to A. Fat. Okay, not metal, not water, not skin, but the answer is A. Fat. Okay. Number 10, the passage states that the hippo does not. Apakah dari passage di atas, bacaan di atas, hippopotamus tidak suka air? Yeah, does not like water? No. Apakah the hippo does not resemble the whale? Apakah hippopotamus tidak mirip sama sekali dengan whale? No. Yeah. Apakah the hippo does not have a protective coating? No. Yang betul adalah the hippo does not have much hair. How do we know? So we try to reflect on the last sentence in here. Yeah. Look at. Yeah. And they are almost completely hairless. Dan hippopotamus kuda Nil ya hampir tidak berambut atau tidak berbulu. Okay, next. Questions number 11 up to 19. So we have actually this one is a descriptive text, yeah. But it is also actually concerning about arts and culture, ya. Jadi sebenarnya kalau kita lihat, oh ini ada teks, ya. Tapi teks ini dia tidak hanya teks casual text, ya. Tidak hanya teks yang biasa aja. Tapi ini menjelaskan tentang satu famous person. Number 2 is about arts, and then the next one is about culture, ya. John James Audubon, 19th century artist and naturalist. Jadi ada seorang yang namanya James Audubon, ya. Dia adalah seniman, ya, di abad ke-19. If you are talking about 19th century, so it is like 18 bla bla bla. Jadi tahun 18 berapa gitu ya. Maybe 1825 it is considered into 19th century. Ya. And a naturalist dan seorang artis yang karyanya itu mengadaptasi lukisan-lukisan yang benar-benar live ya, from the habitat, from the nature ya. Is known as one of the foremost. Di sini kalau kita ke ataskan sedikit, ada kata foremost. What is the meaning of foremost? Leading. Leading itu terdepan, memimpin. Foremost authorities on North American birds. Jadi kalau ditanya, siapa artis atau seniman yang memiliki karya tentang birds? Ya dia, si John James Audubon. Ya, di North America, Amerika Utara. Ya. Born in Les Cayes, Haiti, in 1785, Audubon was raised in France and studied art under French artist Jacques-Louis David. Jadi dia dibesarkan di Prancis ternyata, ya. Dibesarkan di Prancis dan belajar seni, ya, di bawah naungan seorang seniman Prancis yang bernama Jacques-Louis David, ya. After settling on his father's Pennsylvania estate, ya, oh ternyata ayahnya kaya, lalu dia pindah ke Pennsylvania, ya, di Amerika seperti itu. Estate itu rumah besar, ya. At the age of 18, di usia berapa? 18. He first began to study and paint birds, ya. Jadi pada dasarnya dia orang kaya, lalu dia lebih cenderung suka apa? Belajar untuk melukis, ya. Melukisnya itu tapi dia tertarik dengan melukis burung, ya. We don't know what is the real reason, ya, for choosing birds as the object of the painting. Okay. Yeah, again and again, I would like to remind you that vocabulary mastery is very important here. In his young adulthood, ya, di usianya yang masih muda, Audubon undertook numerous enterprises. Jadi si Audubon ini, ya, mengurusi, ya, undertake is mengurus, ya, numerous enterprises, perusahaan-perusahaan yang, ya, berbagai perusahaan seperti itu, ya, yang berbagai macam. Generally without a tremendous amount of success, ya, tetapi secara umum tanpa kesuksesan yang berarti, ya, kesuksesan yang besar, ya, berarti cenderung apa? Gagal, ya, cenderung gagal. Uangnya bertambah atau berkurang? Ya, decreasing. Okay. At various times during his life, he was involved in a mercantile business. Ya. Jadi ketika dia menjalankan bisnisnya terkait perdagangan, ya, lumber and grist mill, ya, a taxidermy business and a school, sampai sekolah juga dia punya, ya. Oke. His general mode of operating a business, jadi gayanya dia menjalankan bisnis was to leave it either unattended, ya, adalah dengan meninggalkannya tanpa pengawasan, okay, or in the hands of a partner and take off on excursion, ya, atau, ya, dibebankan kepada salah satu partnernya, ya, dan take off on excursion. Lalu dia kemana? Dia pergi. Excursion itu jalan-jalan, ya, through the wilds to paint the natural life that he saw, untuk menuju ke ya, ke hutan-hutan seperti itu, ya, ke alam bebas, ya, wilds. Okay? To paint, untuk melukis the natural life that he saw, ya. Jadi kehidupan ya, alam seperti itu yang dia lihat. His business career came to end in 1819, ya. Jadi karir bisnisnya itu berakhir di 1819 when he was jailed, ketika dia dipenjara for debt, ya. Ketika, ya, dipenjara karena utangnya yang banyak, ya. And forced to file for bankruptcy, dan dipaksa untuk menyatakan perusahaannya bangkrut, ya. So it's like moneyless, ya, penniless, ya. Benar-benar sepeser pun tidak ada yang tersisa, melainkan mungkin negatif, ya. Negatif itu, ya, memiliki apa? Hutang, ya. It was at a time that Audubon began seriously to pursue the dream of publishing a collection of his paintings of birds. Itu adalah saat-saat di mana si Audubon ini mulai serius, ya, untuk pursue the dream, untuk mengejar mimpinya, gitu, ya, of publishing a collection of his paintings of birds, untuk menerbitkan koleksi, ya, painting atau lukisannya tentang apa? Tentang burung-burung, ya. For the next 6 years, ya, di 6 tahun kemudian, he painted birds in their natural habitats. Ya, dia kembali ke alam bebas untuk melukis burung-burung. Ya, while his wife worked as a teacher to support the family. ya, sementara istrinya bekerja sebagai guru untuk ya support the family, untuk membantu keluarga. Of course to provide financial support, ya. His Birds of America. Jadi karyanya namanya Birds of America, which included engravings of 435 of his colorful and lifelike watercolors. Ya, yang karyanya Birds of America ini juga ada versi ukirannya seperti itu ya. Di mana karyanya ini Birds of America ini ya memiliki 435 warna ya, cat air, watercolors ya. Lifelike itu maksudnya adalah seperti hidup. Lifelike itu artinya seperti hidup ya. Maksudnya benar-benar hidup lukisannya. Was published in parts during the period from 1826 to 1838 ya. Dipublikasikan di tahun 1826 sampai 1838 in England, di Inggris. After the success of the English edition, ketika sukses dengan pertunjukannya di Inggris ya, American edition of his work were published ya. Jadi pertunjukan di Amerika pun dipublish, dirilis seperti itu ya, in 1839. And his fame and fortune were ensured. Kemudian ketenaran dan ya kesejahteraannya terjamin. Oh, berarti titik kesuksesannya itu tadi di tahun atau setelah tahun 1839. Oke. And then the question is, pertanyaannya adalah kita lihat ya. This passage is mainly about, apakah about North American birds? No. Apakah the works that Audubon published? Tidak ya. Apakah Audubon's preference for travel in natural habitats? No. But Audubon's road to success as a painter of birds. Ya. Jadi ini lebih ke jalan kesuksesan si Audubon sebagai painter, sebagai pelukis. Ya, pelukis apa? Burung. Ya. Okay. The next one, number 12. The word foremost in line 1 is closest in meaning to. Foremost tadi kan apa sih? Terdepan, ya. Memimpin, apa itu foremost? Leading, ya. Leading. Jadi foremost authorities itu maksudnya leading authorities, ya. Oke, jadi jawabannya lebih ke yang B, ya. Prior itu sebelumnya, first itu pertama, largest itu terbesar. Tapi lebih ke leading. Leading because of his quality. Kenapa orang disebut leading? Because of his or her quality. Okay, next. In the second paragraph, the author mainly discusses about, kita lihat ya, the second paragraph. If we try to see, in his young adulthood, Audubon undertook numerous enterprises, generally without a tremendous amount of success. At various times during his life, he was involved in the mercantile business, lumber and crisp mill, a taxidermy business, blah, blah, blah. His business career came to end in 1819 when he was jailed for debt and forced to file for bankruptcy. Pada intinya, paragraf kedua ini tentang cara dia menjalankan bisnis, tapi gagal apa sukses? Gagal, ya. Jadi in the second paragraph, the author mainly discusses about Audubon's unsuccessful business practices. Ya, jadi praktek bisnis Audubon yang gagal, tidak sukses. Oke. Sebenarnya kalau dia mau jalanin bisnisnya aja, dia nggak usah capek-capek ngelukis ya. Istrinya nggak usah capek-capek ngajar ya. Okay, so what about you? If you were John James Audubon, would you just run the business, or would you came to the wild and paint birds? So which one did you choose? Paint birds. You prefer to paint birds. Why? I prefer to do something that I really want to do. Okay. You prefer doing something that shows your trademark, your originality. Okay, that's a good principle. Yeah, prinsip yang bagus. Yeah. But to be easy, if you are rich, I think you all in here prefer, running the business of your parents, right? Instead of, doing so hard. What is the goal actually? The goal is the same. Seeking for money. I think that's a goal. Okay. Yeah, of course, support the family, seeking for money, something like that. Okay, the word mode in line 7 could be best replaced by mode. Tadi apa? Method. Good. Yeah. Math. Mode is method. Yeah. Okay. Jadi gayanya dia dalam menjalankan bisnis ya. His mode of running the business, operating the business, is either leave it unattended or give it to his partner. Okay. Audubon decided not to continue to pursue business when ketika dia tidak menjalankan bisnis dia, itu kapan? Dia memutuskan untuk saya nggak mau menjalankan bisnis lagi nah. Nah itu kapan tadi? When he was put in prison because he owed money. Jadi dia mulai serius untuk menjalankan karirnya dalam bidang arts ya, fine arts atau seni rupa ya, by painting birds. You're going to the wild, take excursions and then paint birds. Okay. C is the answer for number 15. And then number 16, the word pursue in line 11 is closest in meaning to pursue. Pursue the dream. Mengejar mimpi. Yes. Follow. Follow the dream. Okay. Imagine itu mengimajinasikan bukan, share bukan, deny bukan. Ya. Okay. Ngomong-ngomong deny mana ya? Deny, Denny. Okay, according to the passage, menurut bacaan di atas, Audubon's paintings, apakah were realistic portrayals, use only black, white, and gray, were done in oils, depicted birds in cages. Apakah A, B, C, D? Yang A ya, karena tadi ada lifelike. So lifelike itu maksudnya seperti nyata hidup ya. So realistic portrayals ya. B is wrong because he didn't use only black, white, and gray. Instead, 435 colors, right, including engraving. And then C, were done in oils. No, it is with watercolor. Yeah. And then D, depicted birds in cages. Ya, memperlihatkan, menunjukkan burung dalam sangkar. No, ya. The real birds in the habitat. Ya, benar-benar burung yang ada di habitat alamnya. Okay. Number 18. The word support in line 13 could be best replaced by, meanwhile his wife worked as a teacher to support the family. So support means provide for financial needs for the family. It can be inferred, dapat disimpulkan, number 19, from the passage that after 1839 Audubon, tadi dapat disimpulkan bahwasanya tahun 1839 si Audubon ngapain? Became wealthy, menjadi sejahtera, Okay. His fortune, his fame and fortune were ensured. Jadi ketenaran dan kesejahteraannya terjamin, Okay. Yes. The next one, number 20, it refers to the next passage. So we have another scientific text. Kita ada scientific text yang lain nih. It's about schizophrenia. You know about this one, right? So schizophrenia is often confused with multiple personality disorder. Jadi schizophrenia ini kadang-kadang orang bingung, atau rancu dengan penyakit atau gangguan kepribadian ganda. Maybe we can mention like bipolar. You know bipolar? Yeah. Bipolar, okay. It's like double personality. So the indication is like you're easily to get upset, sad, crying, screaming, and suddenly you feel very happy. It's like maybe if the normal person will guess that, are you taking drugs? Maybe because your rate or range of emotion is so, I don't know, so fluctuative, so unstable, right? So in here, schizophrenia is often confused with multiple personality disorder. Jadi banyak orang yang masih rancu atau bingung. Apakah schizophrenia ini sama dengan gangguan kepribadian ganda atau tidak? Yet, it's quite distinct from it. Sebenarnya sejatinya, schizophrenia itu berbeda dengan gangguan kepribadian ganda. Schizophrenia is one of the more common mental disorder. Jadi, schizophrenia ini lebih ke gangguan mental. Considerably more common than multiple personality disorder. Jadi bukan kegangguan kepribadian ganda, tapi lebih ke gangguan mental. The term schizophrenia is composed of roots. Jadi nama dari schizophrenia ini berasal dari sebuah asal kata yang artinya adalah a splitting of the mind. Pikiran yang terbagi bagi-bagi, ya. But it does not refer to a division, ya, into separate and distinct personalities, ya. Bukan berarti ini merupakan tadi, ya, kepribadian yang berbeda, yang terpisah, bukan. Tapi lebih ke pikiran, ya. It's like mental disorder, as occurs in multiple personality disorder, ya. Jadi berbeda intinya seperti itu, ya. Instead, melainkan schizophrenic behavior, jadi perilaku schizophrenic, ya, berhubungan dengan skizofrenia ini, is generally characterized, ya, dikarakterisasikan, ya, diindikasikan by illogical thought patterns, ya. Jadi diindikasikan dengan adanya pola pikiran yang tidak logis, ya, and withdrawal from reality, ya. Jadi dia menarik diri dari apa, reality, kenyataan. Schizophrenics often live in a fantasy world, jadi dia hidup dalam dystopian world, fantasy world, dunia fantasi, bukan di Ancol, bukan. Tapi lebih ke dia menghayal. Misalnya dia lagi naik sepeda, kayaknya dia lagi berlayar gitu. Misalnya dia lagi cuci piring, ya, seolah-olah dia lagi perang itu, menghadapi perang dunia gitu, ya, menghadapi bangsa-bangsa Timur atau Eropa seperti itu. Ketika dia misalnya berlari, seolah-olah dia sedang dikejar T-Rex seperti itu, ya. Mungkin seperti itu, ya. Maybe, ya. Okay. So schizophrenics tend to withdraw from families. Jadi mereka itu cenderung menarik diri dari keluarga. So close or not close? Not close. Tidak dekat, ya. Tidak dekat. Okay. And friends, dan juga teman-teman. And communicate mainly, dan berkomunikasi utamanya with the voices, dengan suara-suara, ya, that they hear in their minds, yang mereka dengar di pikiran mereka. Jadi kalau ada suara-suara gitu, misalnya, Ramzi, kamu joget TikTok sekarang. Gitu ya. Ramzi lagi nyebrang, tiba-tiba Ramzi begini-begini, ya, loncat-loncat begini-begini gitu, ya. Kak Ramzi, why did you dance like that? It's improper. I heard voices in my mind. Nah, itu tanda-tanda Ramzi, ya. Okay, is diagnosed with schizophrenia. Dia diagnosa sebagai pengidap skizofrenia seperti itu, ya. Okay. It is common for the symptoms of schizophrenia to develop during the late teen years or early 20s. Jadi gejalanya itu muncul, ya, ketika usianya itu, ya, teen, ya, teenagers, remaja, atau, ya, early 20s, 20-an awal, ya. But the causes of schizophrenia are not well understood. Tapi sebenarnya secara alamiah, ya, penyakit skizofrenia ini penyebabnya itu tidak diketahui secara spesifik, secara benar, ya. It is believed, ya, dipercaya bahwasanya, ya, that heredity, bahwasanya faktor keturunan may play a part in the onset of schizophrenia. Ya, bisa memiliki peran, ya, terhadap awal mula, ya, onset is the start, ya, of schizophrenia, awal mula dari gejala penyakit schizophrenia. In addition, terlebih lagi, abnormal brain chemistry also seems to have a role. Jadi juga ada kaitannya dengan abnormal brain chemistry. Jadi kalau dalam otak kita tuh ada cairan, ya, cairan kimia yang ibaratnya mengendalikan otak atau mengatur otak untuk bekerja, ya. Called neurotransmitters, yang dinamakan neurotransmitters, have been found to be at abnormal levels in some schizophrenics. Mungkin tingkat cairan kimia tersebut dalam otak itu, ya, kurang normal lah, ya, abnormal seperti itu, ya. Oke, so pertanyaannya adalah the paragraph preceding the passage most probably discusses. Nah, kalau ada paragraf yang mendahului, preceding itu mendahului, ya, the passage, bacaan di atas, most probably discusses, kemungkinan akan mendiskusikan tentang apa? Kita lihat aja yang paling atas. Schizophrenia is often confused with multiple personality disorder. Oh, berarti sebelumnya mungkin kalau ada paragraf sebelumnya membahas tentang macam-macam dari, ya, betul sekali, ya. Apakah the cause of schizophrenia? Apakah the most common mental disorder? Apakah possible cures for schizophrenia? Jawabannya benar adalah B, ya. Multiple personality disorder. Ya, ini ada multiple personality disorder. Salah satunya adalah bipolar, ya, atau bipolar. Oke. Contohnya orang yang mengidap bipolar itu, ya, beberapa artis yang bunuh diri, ya. Chester Bennington, you know, Chester Bennington, the vocalist of Linkin Park. Chris Cornell, the vocalist of Audioslave. Okay. Robin Williams, senior actor. Huh? No. Bipolar. Bipolar is like this. If you are diagnosed with bipolar or bipolar, you will be having a very thin layer, yeah, between your happiness and your sadness. Jadi garis atau batas dari kesedihan dan kesenangan kamu itu tipis banget. Tiba-tiba kamu senang, tiba-tiba kamu sedih, ya. Sampai-sampai ya most people who is diagnosed with like this, okay, they prefer, you know, committing suicide. Mereka ingin bunuh diri. So be careful. One of the factor, I'm sorry to say, don't be so fanatic on anything. Yeah, because perfection is not something human can reach for everyone, right? Yeah, maybe this is only one of the factors. Number two, it happened maybe because those artists, they used to be very glamorous, okay, famous, and then one day due to, I don't know, due to the age, okay, the pandemic situation, or maybe due to the crisis, okay, they are not famous anymore. They are not rich anymore. Okay. So within that time or situations, they prefer to, if they like playing games, maybe they call it like reset button. I want to reset my life. By what? By committing suicide. It's dangerous. Okay. Yeah. Next. Which of the following is true about schizophrenia and multiple personality disorder? Apakah mereka sama? No ya, tidak sama ya. Apakah one is psychological disorder while the other is not? Ya sama-sama psychological disorder ya. Cuman kan bedanya yang tadi itu apa? Multiple personality disorder. Yang lainnya itu adalah mental disorder. Oke. Apakah multiple personality disorder occurs more often than schizophrenia? No. But many people mistake one for the other. Maksudnya adalah masih banyak orang yang salah kaprah ya. They mostly similarize between schizophrenia with the multiple personality disorder. Yeah. Okay. Number 23. Disorder in the line 3 is closest in meaning to which of the following? Disruption, untidiness, misalignment, or disease. Disease. Yeah. Disorder di sini, yeah, it is not talking about the alignment or the arrangement, ya, walaupun judulnya gangguan, tapi lebih ke penyakit ya. Oke, multiple personality disorder maksudnya penyakit kepribadian kan ganda. Ya, walaupun kita sebut dengan gangguan. Kalau disruption yang atas itu dia lebih ke gangguan. When someone try to disturb you, ya, we call it disruption. Distortion, disruption, disturbance, okay? But disorder in here, it means the disease, penyakit ya. Okay. Number 23, it can be inferred, dapat disimbolkan from the passage that a schism is division into faction. Ya, jadi pembagian tadi mentality, ya, division into factions, schism. Okay. Next, number 24. What is not true about schizophrenia according to the passage? Yang tidak betul tentang schizophrenia itu yang mana? Apakah it is characterized by separate and distinct personalities? Apakah it often causes withdrawal from reality? Its symptoms include illogical thought patterns. Apakah its victims tend to hear voices in their minds? Ya, jadi yang bukan itu jawabannya adalah yang A. Ya, it is characterized by separate and distinct personalities. Ya, jadi ada di sini. Kalau saya lihat ya, but it does not refer to a division into separate and distinct personalities. Ya, jadi schizophrenia ini kan lebih ke mental disorder. Ya, bukan ke apa? Bukan ke kepribadian yang berbeda, yang terpisah. Ya, so which is not true? Ya, what is not true? A, it is characterized by separate and distinct personalities. Okay. According to the passage, how do schizophrenics generally relate to their families? Bagaimana mereka kaitannya dengan family atau keluarga? So which one is it? Number 25, sorry. Apakah they are quite friendly with the families? Mereka sangat friendly dengan family-nya? No, ya. Justru mereka lebih ke withdrawal. What is withdrawal? Penarikan, ya. Money withdrawal, penarikan uang, ya. But this one is withdrawal, ya. Withdrawal from the family, ya, the society, the community. They become remote from their families. Ya, yang B, ya. Mereka menjadi terkucilkan gitu ya. From the families, their families, okay? Yang C salah ya, they have an enhanced ability to understand their families. Mereka memiliki kemampuan yang hebat untuk memahami keluarga, bukan ya? They communicate openly with their families. Mereka berkomunikasi dengan terbuka? No, yeah. So again and again, vocabulary mastery is the best. Yeah. Jadi I think it is best for us, yeah, to understand the context of the reading first. Okay, by relying on guessing from the context can be, or maybe relying on your vocabulary mastery to understand about the comprehension of the reading. Okay, the message within the reading. I think it is the best. It can be inferred from the passage that it will be least common for schizophrenia to develop at the age of, yang paling kecil kemungkinannya orang mengidap skizofrenia itu di usia berapa? Kalau paling memungkinkan itu kan tadi teen up to early 20s. Oke. Nah, berarti yang paling ya will be least common. Least itu artinya yang paling terkecil kemungkinannya ya untuk seseorang mengidap penyakit skizofrenia itu 30 ya. 30. So number 26 the answer is D. 30. Okay. Number 27, the word onset. Onset apa tadi? In line 11. The onset of schizophrenia. The start, ya. The start of schizophrenia, ya. Jadi awal mula berkembangnya penyakit schizophrenia. Kalau kita merujuk ke atas, line 11, kita lihat di sini. Ini kan 10 ya. Nah, berarti ini 11. Play a part in the onset of schizophrenia. Jadi memiliki peran dalam permulaan, ya, awal mula dari penyakit schizophrenia. So onset is start, ya. So number 27 is A, start. Number 28, the word abnormal. Kata abnormal in line 11 is closest meaning to abnormal is unusual, ya. Kalau unregulated itu tidak diatur, ya. Unstable itu tidak stabil, uncharted tidak digolongkan, ya, tidak di. Okay. 29. Where in the passage does the author explain the derivation of the term schizophrenia? Di dalam bacaan di atas, asal muasal kata schizophrenia itu dicantumkan di baris keberapa? Kita lihat ya. We try to see. Okay. The term. Nah di sana ya. 1, 2, 3. The term schizophrenia is composed of roots, which mean a splitting of the mind, but does not refer to a division into separate and distinct personalities, as occurs in multiple personality disorder. So it's line 3 up to 5. Jadi baris ketiga sampai ke 5. 29 is A, ya. Line 3 up to 5. Okay. And then next, we have another reading in here for questions 30 up to 39. Yes, it's a tough section, right? So for reading section in TOEFL, it's very tough, benar-benar challenging. Yeah. But the advantage is by the time you master about reading, I believe your range of vocabularies will be, I think, enhanced. It will be great. Yeah. So you can vary the usage of English vocabularies within conversation, within your writing. Jadi benar-benar kalau kita memahami ya the range of vocabulary, kita perkaya ya kosakata kita bisa memvariasikan apapun yang kita ingin communicate, apapun yang ingin kita write seperti itu ya. Okay, next. People are often surprised to learn just how long some varieties of trees can live. Ya, mungkin orang akan tercengang, terkejut ya. Ya, berapa lama sih beberapa varietas atau jenis pohon dapat hidup, ya? Berapa lama? Berapa lama pohon yang bisa hidup di bumi, di dunia? How many years? 10, hundreds, 1,000? Yeah, we try to see here. If asked to estimate the age of the oldest living trees on Earth, jika ditanya, ya, perkiraan usia, ya, usia pohon yang hidup di bumi, they often come up with the guesses in neighborhood of 2 or perhaps 300 years. Ya, mereka itu mengacu kepada people, masyarakat. Ya, masyarakat mungkin akan menebak-nebak, ya. In the neighborhood itu maksudnya adalah sekitar, ya, approximately, ya. Sekitar 2 or perhaps 300 years. Sekitar 2 atau 300 tahun. Oke. The real answer is, ya, tetapi jawaban yang benar adalah is considerably larger than that, ya. Sebenarnya lebih dari itu, more than 5,000 years. Can you imagine? Lebih dari 5.000 tahun. Yeah, it refers to the ancient Egypt maybe. It refers to the ancient Egypt, the Pharaoh, yeah, the Pharaoh, yeah. Yes, that tree lived during the Pharaoh itu Pharaoh ya. Pharaoh era. Jadi benar-benar hidup dari zaman dulu sampai sekarang. It's really old, yeah. Extremely old. The tree that wins the prize for its considerably maturity is the bristlecone pine of California. Jadi pohon tersebut, ya, yang menangkan hadiah gitu ya. Yang okay, we try to share screen again, guys. Yeah, it's still recording. Share again. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yep, guys, we continue, okay? Yeah. The tree that wins the prize for its considerable maturity is the bristlecone pine from California, of California. Jadi pohon tersebut dinamakan bristlecone pine, ya. Jadi semacam pohon pinus jenis bristlecone, ya. And it is available in California, America. Okay. This venerable pine, ya. Jadi pohon pinus tua ini, venerable means old, really old, tua, ancient, ya. Predates wonders of the ancient world such as the pyramids of Egypt. Kalau kita padankan, itu tuanya sama dengan the ancient pyramids, ya. The ancient pyramids in the ancient Egypt. Jadi semacam sama tuanya dengan piramida di Mesir kuno, ya. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Mungkin sama tuanya juga dengan the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Apa namanya, taman gantung Babilonia. Ya, itu sangat tua ya. And the Colossus of Rhodes. Okay. It is not nearly as tall as the giant redwood. Ya. Ada satu pohon lagi nih namanya giant redwood. Mungkin sama tuanya atau bagaimana. Tapi dia lebih tinggi. Giant redwood ini lebih tinggi. Artinya bristlecone pine of California itu dia shorter. Lebih pendek. That is also found in California. Ya, yang juga ditemukan di daerah California. Oke, berarti California itu banyak pohon-pohon tua ya. Oke, ya. And in fact, dan faktanya, it is actually sebenarnya not very tall. Ya, tidak terlalu tinggi compared with many other trees. Ya, often little more than 5 meters in height. Ya. Oke, jadi sekitar berapa? 5 meter tingginya. This relatively short height may be one of the factors, ya. Jadi ukuran yang tidak terlalu besar, tidak terlalu tinggi ini atau relatif pendek ini, ya, maybe one of the factors, mungkin adalah salah satu faktor that aid, ya, yang membantu the bristlecone pine in living to a ripe old age, yang membantu si pohon pinus bristlecone ini, ya, bertumbuh di usia yang sangat tua. High winds and inclement weather, ya. Jadi winds itu apa? Angin, ya, angin kencang. Ya, angin tinggi, angin kencang, and inclement weather, dan juga cuaca yang buruk, ya, cannot easily reach the shorter trees and cause damage, ya, tidak dengan mudah bisa merubuhkan pohon tersebut Okay, here, yeah. The best title for this passage would be, apakah the size of the bristlecone pine? Apakah ini tentang the size? Ya, secara ibaratnya keseluruhan ini hanya membahas tentang ukuran dari pohon pinus bristlecone pine? Tidak ya? No. Kalau ada pertanyaan the best title for this passage, we choose the most general. Kita pilih yang paling umum ya. Apakah 300-year-old forest? Apakah ini membahas tentang hutan yang usianya lebih dari 300 tahun? No. Apakah the wonders of the ancient world? Ya, apakah kemegahan atau ya kemegahan dari dunia-dunia kuno? No. But amazingly, enduring tree. Jadi ini lebih ke pohon-pohon yang ya dengan hebat bisa bertahan. Ya, one of them is bristlecone pine from California. Ya, within the age of more than 5,000 years. Okay. And the next, the word estimate in line 2 is closest in meaning to estimate. Kita lihat ya. Line 2. Ya, if asked to estimate, mengira-ngira, ya. Lebih ke approximate ya. Approximate, okay. Approximate, okay. So number 32, the expression in the neighborhood of. Tadi ada pernyataan in the neighborhood of. Ya, approximately. Perhatikan di sini. They often come up with the guesses in the neighborhood of 2 or perhaps 300 years. Jadi orang-orang itu biasanya menebak-nebak ya in the neighborhood of, maksudnya adalah sekitar. Oke, kira-kira 2 or perhaps 300 years. 200 sampai 300 tahun. So of approximately, ya. 32 is A of approximately. Number 33, it can be inferred, dapat disimpulkan from the passage, dari bacaan di atas, ya. That most people, bahwasanya mayoritas masyarakat, apakah are quite accurate in their estimates of the age of trees? No. Ya. Apakah have 200 or 300 trees in their neighborhoods? No. Can name some 300-year-old trees? Bisa menamai satu-satu, ini pohon ini, pohon ini, pohon ini? No. Yes, the answer is C. Do not really have any idea how old the oldest trees on earth are. Ya, jadi mereka itu tidak rata-rata ya, tidak tahu berapa usia dari pohon tertua di bumi, gitu ya. According to the passage, approximately how old are the oldest trees on earth? Yeah. The oldest trees on earth. 5,000 years old. Yeah. 5,000 years old. The word venerable in line 6 is closest in meaning to which of the following? Tadi venerable apa? Venerable is very old. Okay. Yes, it is ancient. Incredible, hebat. No ya, bukan ya. Towering itu menjulang ya. Unrecognizable, tidak dikenali ya. Ancient. The word venerable is very old or ancient. A, 35 is A. The author mentioned the Egyptian pyramids as an example of something that is known to be old. Ya, jadi si penulis menyebutkan piramida kuno ya di Mesir sebagai salah satu contoh ya yang diketahui sangat tua ya, known to be old. D. Which of the following is true about the bristlecone pine? Yang mana yang betul? Pernyataan yang betul tentang bristlecone pine, pohon pinus bristlecone. Apakah it is as tall as the Great Pyramids? Apakah tingginya setinggi piramid? No. It is never more than 5 meters in the height? No. It is short in comparison to many other trees? Atau it can be 200 or 300 feet tall? Ya, itu short ya, lebih ke tadi short ya. It is short in comparison to many other trees. Dibandingkan dengan pohon-pohon lainnya, ya cenderung pendek ya, pendek tapi itu tua. Berarti apa? Pentu, pendek tua. Oke. The word inclement. Tadi ada kata inclement weather. Jadi cuaca yang apa? Cuaca buruk ya. Inclement weather itu adalah cuaca buruk. Berarti the word inclement in line 10 could be best replaced by bad. Ya, yang B, bad. Oke. The passage states that resin. Jadi bacaan di atas menyatakan bahwasanya getah atau resin apa? Helps stop fraud from starting. Ya, mencegah apa? Mencegah kebusukan. Ya, mencegah kebusukan. Kebusukan pohon. I think this is the last paragraph. Yeah, the last passage. Okay. For questions number 40 and up to 50. Yes. This is about economy. Okay. History and economy. The organization that today is known as the Bank of America. Ya. Jadi organisasi atau institusi yang sekarang dikenal sebagai Bank Amerika did start out in America. Ya. Memang benar-benar mulai dibangun, ya, beroperasi di Amerika, but under quite a different name, ya. Tetapi, ya, sebelumnya itu bernama bukan Bank of America, tapi nama yang berbeda. Italian American AP Giannini established this bank on October 17, ya, 1904 in a renovated salon in San Francisco's Italian community of North Beach under the name of Bank of Italy. Jadi nama Bank of America yang sekarang ini masih ada, ya, dibangun oleh seorang Itali yang bernama AP Giannini, ya, AP Giannini. Anggap saja ini namanya Giannini seperti itu, ya. Oktober 17 tahun 1904, ya, yang dimana dia merenovasi salon itu apa sih, kayak bar, ya, pub bar, ya, it refers to salon. Okay, located in San Francisco. Jadi ada komunitas Itali yang terletak di San Francisco, ya, North Beach di pantai utara, under the name of Bank of Italy. Jadi dia mengumpulkan komunitas orang-orang Itali imigran seperti itu, ya. Lalu dia mendirikan bank. Mungkin bentuknya dulu kayak koperasi gitu kali, ya. Koperasi simpan pinjam khusus untuk orang-orang Itali, mungkin seperti itu, ya. Okay. With immigrants and the first-time bank customers comprising of the majority of his customers, ya. Jadi memang mayoritas dari klien-kliennya adalah imigran, ya, tentunya dari Italia, ya. Okay. During its development, ya, selama perkembangannya, ya, Giannini's bank survived major crisis, ya. Jadi banknya si Giannini ini, ya, bisa bertahan, ya, di beberapa krisis yang besar in the form of a natural disaster, ya. Dalam bentuk apa? Disaster itu? Disaster? Bencana. Ya, natural disaster, bencana alam. And a major economic upheaval, dan gejolak ekonomi yang besar that not all other banks were able to overcome. Di mana tidak semua bank bisa mengatasinya. Ya. One major test for Giannini's bank occurred on April 18, 1906. Jadi salah satu, ya, apa namanya, tes atau ujian terbesar bagi banknya Giannini, ya, terjadi di 18 April 1906 when a massive earthquake struck San Francisco, ketika sebuah gempa bumi yang hebat menghantam San Francisco, followed by a raging fire, diikuti oleh, ya, api yang mengamuk, ya. Raging fire itu api yang mengamuk, ya. Bayangin kalian memiliki bank, saat itu kalian memiliki klien sebanyak yang mungkin menyimpan tidak hanya uang but also gold, ya, emas. Kemudian ada gempa bumi, kemudian terbakar. Wow, panic, ya. Oke, panic in San Francisco, bukan panic at the disco, tapi panic at San Francisco. Oke. Next, Giannini obtained 2 wagons and teams of horses, ya. Akhirnya si Giannini ini, ya, dia, ya, berusaha untuk memperoleh 2 wagons, 2 kereta apa, kuda, ya. Ada horsesnya di situ, ya. Dan juga ada beberapa kudanya, ya. Filled the wagons, lalu dia segera mengisi kereta kuda itu with the bank's reserve, ya, dengan, ya, harta benda yang dimiliki bank tersebut, mostly in the form of gold, ya. Ya, kebanyakan dalam bentuk apa? Gold, ya, emas. Ya. Covered the reserve with crates of oranges. Jadi dia menutupi gold tersebut dengan crates. Crates itu adalah kayak keranjang yang terbentuk dari kayu. Ya, crate. Crate itu gini loh. Kamu tahu di pasar kalau orang jualan buah itu ada kotak kayu Itu crate namanya, ya. Oke. Oke, di sini ada crate of orange, maksudnya adalah keranjang jeruk, ya. And escape from the chaos of the city with his clients' funds protected. Ya, dia berhasil melarikan diri dari kekacauan di kota tersebut, ya, dengan membawa apa? Dengan membawa harta benda, funding, ya, protected, yang dia proteksi, yang dia lindungi, ya. In the aftermath of the disaster, ya, setelah kejadian bencana tersebut, Giannini's Bank was the first to resume operations. Banknya si Giannini ini pertama kali, ya, yang mulai beroperasi kembali, ya. Unable to install the bank in a proper office setting, ya, karena dia bingung bagaimana menyiapkan bank tersebut dengan proper, dengan baik, rapih dan sebagainya. Giannini open up shop the Washington Street Wharf, ya, on a makeshift desk, ya. Jadi Giannini ini membuka sebuah shop, ya, atau kedai atau toko, ya, di Washington Street Wharf. Wharf itu dermaga, ya. Di apa? Dermaga di Washington, ya. On a makeshift desk, ya. Di apa? Desk itu desk itu adalah meja, ya. Makeshift itu sementara, ya. Di sebuah meja sementara created from boards of barrels, ya. Created from boards yang dibuat dari papan-papan dan barrel. Barrel itu kayak tong gitu, ya. Ya, barrels, tong-tong gitu, ya. Zaman dulu tong itu terbuat dari kayu itu loh, kayu yang dilenggung-lenggungin. Tahu kan barrel? Seperti itu, ya. Zaman dulu, ya, barrel zaman dulu. Kalau sekarang tong ini ya dari besi, ya. Oke. You know Texas kayak zaman-zaman koboi gitu. Kan ada barrel, ya. Itu ada yang terbuat dari kayu kan? Untuk menyimpan bir gitu. Ya. The beer barrels, okay. The period of the following in the 1906 fire, ya. Di periode tahun 1906, ya. Setelah kejadian tersebut tadi ada gempa bumi dan juga ada kebakaran, the Bank of Italy continued to prosper and expand. Dia mulai beroperasi, berkembang, ya. Seperti itu. By 1918, there were 24 branches of the Bank of Italy. Terdapat 24 cabang dari Bank of Italy. And by 1928, Giannini had acquired numerous other banks. Dan di tahun 1928, Giannini, ya, memiliki banyak bank, including Bank of America located in New York City. Termasuk Bank Amerika di kota New York. Ya, besar sekali itu, ya. In 1930, he consolidated all of the branches of Bank of Italy. Dia mengkonsolidasikan, menggabungkan, merge, ya. The Bank of America in New York City and another Bank of America that he had formed in California into the Bank of America National Trust and Savings Association. Jadi semuanya digabungkan menjadi satu nama, yaitu apa? Bank of America National Trust and Savings Association. Jadi Savings Association adalah asosiasi tabungan. A second major crisis for the bank occurred during the Great Depressions of the 1930. Tahun 1930 itu ada kejadian besar, semacam krisis besar namanya Great Depression. Ya, saat itu orang-orang benar-benar mengalami krisis keuangan, ya. Yes. Although Giannini had already retired prior to the darkest day of the depression, sebenarnya Giannini itu sudah pensiun sebelum tahun 1930 ketika Great Depression itu terjadi, ya. He became incensed. Dia marah, dia menjadi marah. Kenapa? When his successor, ketika penerusnya, began selling off banks, mulai menjual bank-banknya, ya. Oke. During the bad economic times, ya, selama waktu-waktu ekonomi yang sulit itu, Giannini resumed leadership of the bank at the age of 62. Dia memimpin kembali di usia 62. Ya mau nggak mau dia harus mempertahankan bank tersebut biar nggak bangkrut, kan usaha kerasnya dia. Dia menjabat kembali sebagai ketuanya seperti itu, ya. Under Giannini's leadership, the bank weathered the storm. Ya, di bawah kepemimpinan si Giannini, ya, bank tersebut bisa melewati badai atau menghadapi Great Depression itu, ya. And subsequently, dan kemudian move into a pace of overseas development. Kemudian berkembang secara overseas atau international. Oke, jadi kan enak kalau kita memahami reading text-nya, ya. Nanti kan kita tinggal jawab, kan gitu, ya. Daripada we have no clues at all. Lalu kita panik nih. Pertanyaannya ini apa nih gitu kan. Lalu kita bingung ke atas, scrolling ke atas. Aduh, ini jawabannya apa ya? It's better for us to understand about the reading text first. Okay? And then we finally come up to the questions. Contoh ya, kita sudah bahas yang di atas, kita tanpa ke atas sudah bisa. According to the passage, menurut bacaan di atas, Giannini, apakah dia open the Bank of America in 1904, work in a Bank of Italy, apakah dia langsung menamakan banknya itu Bank of America di tahun 1904? Bukan ya. Apakah dia bekerja di Bank Italia? Bukan. Apakah dia set up the Bank of America prior to setting up of the Bank of Italy? Apakah dia mendirikan Bank Amerika sebelum dia mendirikan Bank of Italy? No, jawabannya yang dia later changed the name of Bank of Italy into Bank of America, ya, Bank of America Trust and Savings Association, ya. Okay. Where did Giannini open his first bank? In New York City? Atau in what used to be a bar? Apakah on Washington Street Wharf? On a makeshift desk? Jadi dia itu tadi kalau kita ceritakan, ya, dia itu merenovasi sebuah salon. Yang salon itu kalau kita ya padankan itu adalah bar ya. Kalau New York City itu ya dia tadi ya pindah ya. Nah di sini bisa kita cek lagi nih teman-teman. Ya, dia itu di San Francisco. Ya, jadi dia bukan mendirikannya di New York. Oke? Ya, dia itu di New York City itu dia memiliki Bank of America. Ya, jadi dia pertama kali bukan di New York ya, tapi di San Francisco. Jadi lebih ke apa di sini teman-teman? Where did Giannini open his first bank? In what used to be a bar. Ya, di sebuah tempat yang sebelumnya adalah sebuah bar. According to the passage 42, which of the following is not true about San Francisco earthquake? Yang tidak betul terkait gempa bumi di San Francisco yang mana? Apakah it happened in 1906? Yang tidak betul ya. Apakah it occurred in the aftermath of fire? Apakah itu terjadi setelah adanya kebakaran? Apakah it caused problems for Giannini's bank? Apakah itu menyebabkan problem ya kepada banknya si Giannini? Apakah it was a tremendous earthquake? Yang B ya. Yang B itu not true ya. The answer is B ya. Oke. It occurred in the aftermath of fire? No. Ya gempa bumi dulu ya. Earthquake happened first. Ya, and then it was followed by a fire. Ya, the raging fire. The word raging in line 8 could be best replaced by raging fire itu api yang menyala-nyala hebat, yang benar-benar intens. Ya, jadi raging itu lebih ke intens ya. Bukan anger. Jadi kalau anger itu dia marah gitu. No. Fire is not a human being. It is not a living thing, right? So we cannot say that it is an angered fire. No, but intense fire. Jadi memang api yang lebat, yang hebat. 43 is C. Number 44. It can be inferred from the passage. Dapat disimpulkan dari bacaan di atas. That Giannini used crates and oranges after the earthquake. Dia menggunakan apa tadi? Kotak. Ya, kotak apa? Kotak jeruk ya. Untuk apa? To hide the gold. Ya. A. To hide the gold. Untuk menyembunyikan emas. Why? Why? Why did he need to hide the gold? Because of course he was afraid to be robbed. Dia takut dirampok. Ya. Of course it was a difficult situation and everyone wants to, wanted to commit anything. Ya. As chaos happened. Jadi kalau ada kerusuhan itu ya orang cenderung do crimes, ya berbuat kriminal. Okay. The word chaos in line 10 is closest meaning to chaos itu tadi apa? Ya, total confusion. Ya, benar-benar kebingungan yang hebat, yang total. Ya, total confusion. Ya, number 45 is D. The word consolidated in line 17 is closest meaning to consolidated all of the banks. It's merged. Okay, merge. Yeah. Yes, merge is menggabungkan ya. So number 46 is B. Yeah, here the word consolidated in line 17 is closest meaning to merged. Okay. And then 47, the passage states that after his retirement, ketika si Jan ini sudah pensiun, Jan ini ngapain lagi? Apa? Return to work. Ya. Oke, ya. Jadi return to work, kembali bekerja. Ya, because his successor began to sell off. Ya, his successor began selling off banks. Dia mulai menjual aset-aset bank seperti itu. 48. The expression weathered the storm off in line 23 could best be replaced by. Jadi ada weather the storm, menghadapi badai. Ya, berarti dia survive ya. Survived the ordeal of. Ordeal itu kesulitan, ya, problem, ya, ordeal. Okay. Where in the passage does the author describe Jan and his first bank clients? Ya, first banking clients. Kita lihat ya. Jadi pertama kali dia pastikan di awal-awal ya. Ini ya. Nah, ini ya. Renovating is a community of with immigrants, ya, and first-time bank, ya. Oke, customers ini ya. Line 4 ya. Coba kita lihat line-nya itu. Oh, yang paling mendekati itu 2, 5 ya. Lines 2 until 5 ya. Bahwasanya dikatakan bahwasanya Jan and his first banking clients ya derived from the immigrants. Okay, in the North Beach of San Francisco. Okay. Number 50, the last number in reading section. The paragraph following the passage most likely discusses about kalau ada paragraf yang hadir setelah bacaan di atas, maka akan mendiskusikan tentang apa? We just see the last sentence. Kita lihat last sentence. Ya, ada kata overseas development. Ya, pengembangan bisnis ke luar negeri. Ya, jadi banknya itu berkembang ke luar negeri. Berarti ya? Yes, C, yang C ya. The international development of the Bank of America. Jadi perkembangan bisnis ya secara internasional dari Bank of America. Yeah, we just finished the 50 questions of reading. It's easy, isn't it? Yeah. So, yeah. So the point is vocabulary mastery is very important for us. Jadi nggak rugi kok ketika kita misalnya mencicil ya. We start day by day to enhance our, vocabulary mastery. We add our new vocabulary and then we use it daily. Yeah, we implement it daily. And then we have a speaking partner. It is very important. Jadi yang kalian butuhkan adalah speaking partner. Okay, your friends, your colleague, okay, or maybe in your office, just speak English, no problem. Yeah, because it will be dealing with your career in the future. Ya, karena akan menjadikan apa ya, blueprint kalian atau portfolio kalian. Bahwasanya you can present anything in English. You can maybe represent your boss, dealing with presentation with a client, okay, or maybe offering your product knowledge to the clients. And then by the time it goes, of course you'll be you'll be getting like jadi offer ya. Jadi kayak semacam offer ya for your career seperti itu ya. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you very much for coming. I dismiss the class ya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye.